All right, hello everybody, and welcome to another stream. So I am sorry if anybody has picked up this from like the Twitter or the Blue Sky. I think I might have posted, unfortunately, the scheduled YouTube link instead of the Restream one. So I'm trying to do with Restream as well. So just um, with their free version, I can do like Twitch and YouTube. So hopefully it's working out on your end as well. Um, and let me see. Yeah, I'm hoping that users might have gone to a bad link on through the YouTube link that I shared. So hopefully that's not the case and people were able to join. Um, so yeah, welcome to another stream. And some quick updates. You remember in our last stream we did some blocking out of this kind of interior area, and just going through here and going into the dam interior. Something that I've done, even though I was away for like Easter and but I was able to kind of play around a little bit with kind of making some choices of different like materials, textures to apply to the walls. Also part of some of the work that I've done, also kind of grunt work, to be honest, is trying to reduce kind of the memory footprint, for textures, and also part of it being cleanup. And a lot of it was I've I spent quite a bit of time this week in between work and home chores, so to speak. But if you remember from our last stream, I believe, this number here, the fully loaded memory, and this is all streaming level, so basically everything that's going to be loaded into the game was at around 13 gigs, and now it's down to 9. And as you can tell, haven't gone through, I've only gone through maybe a tenth of all the textures that or at least the ones here in the statistics. And a lot of them are kind of duplicates, and some of them being my mistakes as on, uh, you know, moving some things around and using some of the things in the old package, some of the things from where I've moved assets. So it got a little mess, and um, a lot of duplicates happen, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm going through this. I'm just hoping to get this number down as low as I can. It's probably going to come down a bit more as well. But um, but yeah, that's kind of just behind the scenes type of work. Nothing too exciting. Um, yeah. So the other thing I was trying to play around a little bit with some of these lights, just also for for the mesh itself. I do have quite a few quite a few of these kind of wall industrial type of looking meshes, and I've kind of unified them all under this, and also managed to kind of, I think, make it look a little bit better. At least I'm biased here, so whenever this one is off, um, this is how the light itself looks, and then when you turn it on like this, and of course, changing the color of the light. Let's kind of make it yellow. The oh, that's very yellow. Um, the emissive of it changes as well. So I think that looks quite a bit better than before. Once you turn it blue, it kind of looks like this. So so yeah, that's uh, one more item that I was working on. I've actually play tested this area a little bit earlier, and in the editor on my machine, it was running at around 55 frames per second. So that was I was like kind of impressed with it. And again, this area has no optimization whatsoever. But um, but that was a good thing to see. At least I felt that way. So so yeah, that's some of the updates for the some of the stuff that I was trying to do, as well as if you remember last stream, I was doing like a little bit of a playthrough, just moving the character around, and it did feel like these areas were like really big. So now I've kind of, um, brought the walls together, made it look more like a corridor and not like a concert hall type of space. So let me jump into game here, and I'll show you kind of from the first player perspective. It might uh, look a little bit better. All right, so let's see. There we go. Let me just close a couple of these things here. Yeah, so of course, once you're in also streaming, it's not doesn't always work as best. Um, so yeah, now at least it seems a little bit more corridor-ish. This space is a little bit tighter, and once we add a few things, against the walls and stuff, um, it might make it even more corridor-like. Because if you remember, like all the way back here, this space was kind of gigantic in scale, so you can see it in like a third-person view that this is really really big. Um, so at least for what the use of this corridor would be, and that's why I wanted to make it a little bit narrower, a little bit kind of the ceiling a little bit lower. So hopefully that should make things a little bit, um, like I said, more corridor-like. And yeah, so I think today what I wanted to do is work on a little bit of that, and also, um, so like I said, making these a little bit narrower, um, and applying some of these materials to the walls, and adding some of these lights that I'm using now. And also, if anybody's interested, kind of this is what the light complexity is. I think the reason that I wanted to do this with this type of light is that it also has like a little bit of a point light for this little effect behind the light. So if you look, once you place it on the wall, it's got this little um, kind of fake shadowing, I would say, of the light, little grills around the light. Um, Not sure if that's like a a term, but yeah. And so let's get to it. Um, Hopefully, if anybody adds a comment, I'll be able to see it in Restream. This is my second time with Restream, so I think it should work. But yeah, uh, let's continue on with this. The main thing now that I've been trying to add a little bit of variety to the walls, right? So I have this kind of I think it's like it's got a name. This type of it's like a cast in situ, like a that's kind of the name of this, the way the concrete pour. But so I'm using a couple of types, so there's this type and then there's this one. So we'll see how we can make that work when it comes to this section down here where the stairs are. So yeah, let's get after it. Let's go and get this done. All right. Well, so I'm just gonna remove some of these and just work with these walls like this. And probably gonna start it a little bit closer, not make this area this big. Hey, Max, how are you? Well, actually, it's actually better in once it's built. Um, uh, at least this is my experience. It's especially in the areas that are not as heavy, because like once you this area around town is still not quite there when it comes to optimization. There's still quite a lot of draw calls in here. So I'm still working on this space, um, just trying a couple of different things with the HLODs. As you can tell, like the frame rate dropped quite a bit around here because this, like I said, this is very busy, and like all these are, as you can tell, made out of a bunch of individual pieces. So I'm experimenting a little bit with like either merging these meshes or kind of the instancing option as well. So we'll see. But but yeah, and as you can tell, as soon as I go away from that area and into around here, the frame rate is much better. And like I said, this is streaming. I was playing in this area a little bit earlier, and um, in the corridor, it was around 50, 53-ish frames per second. Up here, it was around 50-ish, 46, 50. Um, but yeah, that was in the editor. The last time I built it, it was 5. Was it 5.4? It was right before 5.5 came out, and it ran smoother um, in the build version. Like the and I think it's gonna get even better with I'm not sure if you just joined, but I was showing earlier like the statistics. So if you go in here under audit and under statistics, and so that build was done with this one, the fully loaded memory being at like 13 gigs. So now it's, down to 9, and I'm still going through a lot of these to get that down even further. So it should um, put a lot less load on the video card, I think. So it should get even better. But yeah, it's I wouldn't say painstakingly type of process, but it is time consuming, right? But yeah, like I said, it's running better for me in in the build. But yeah, thank you so much for the question. That's a really good one. All right, so let's see how can we make the transition here. Maybe I'll switch to one of these. Ooh, that's something is fighting over there. Okay, there we go. Yeah, let me know if you have any other questions. Be happy to answer them. I mean, that being if I have an answer. All right, so let's try and kind of get these together like this, and maybe I can use one of these pillars to to make them join together. Oh, come on, I'm getting lost. Yeah, so just trying to get the transition between these two surfaces in a way, like that. Oh, yeah, I think, in at least in my case, it definitely is. And like I said, it's this is on me. It's I've like I was showing you earlier, the town area, which that's I think that's the one that has like the heaviest impact. Everything else, if the town area would work like everything else, I would be extremely happy. Uh, but yeah, that area is very busy. Um, so, and I kind of get it why most games don't have, or at least um, they have much better, people that know much better than I do when it comes to how to make these areas, these kind of really, um, really busy areas work. So hopefully I can figure it out as well. And if I do, I'm definitely sharing it with you guys, and hopefully it helps others as well. All right, so let's see how can we make like I said, I wanted to bring this lower. Oh, come on. Not sure why I got these like crazy rotation in there, but oh, well, that explains it. I was like right in that cube rectangle. So there we go. That's a little bit better. And now we can probably. Oh yeah, so I forgot. I did when I was taking a screenshot of this, I did do a little bit of enable all screen messages. Yeah, so see this number here, this is also what's probably kind of affecting, as you can tell, extremely expect extremely poor performance. But this number was a lot higher when, before, kind of doing this trim of all these textures that I either don't use or are duplicates. So I remember this number going into like the 2500 range, 3000 at times. And so yeah, now it's definitely, you know, going down. And hopefully, like I said, I'll manage to get it down even further. And this is in the editor. I haven't seen this shown up when in the build game as much. So or actually haven't really seen it at all. But it is an indication, even if right now in the editor I have all the levels loaded, um, that it's I gotta work on it and get it to a more manageable number. Hey Bob, salud, welcome. Yeah, I'm actually happy that Restream seems to be working pretty good. So I'll continue with Restream. All right, let's get this concrete material to and apply it down here. And the other thing, you might remember from the last stream that I was planning on having like some kind of pipes going through this, and I still plan to do that. It's just like this slope here is kind of crazy. I don't see how that would be um, a thing, to be honest. So, and yeah, also, I might have mentioned this, but I don't really have, or at least I wasn't able to find too many reference photos for like a corridor. It was mostly just reference photos that were like, like this section, so not so much as you start from here and it goes through here. Maybe there's like some kind of, um, like abandoned places exploration videos that might have taken you into some tunnels and stuff. But yeah, I think just gonna I'm just gonna see what happens. Um, all right, so I think for this section, maybe I'll just keep this kind of concrete surface and not the stucco type of stuff. So let's see how that's gonna look. Um, okay, so let's try and get one of these lights. Yeah, as you can tell right now, Max, there are some stutters. And yeah, I think this number is, like I said, um, I'm still trying to better understand it, how it's generated, because it's all over the map. It goes to like 1,000, then it goes to 3,000. So it is something also related to probably like, how my texture, my video card streams in textures and um, the limited memory that it has. I mean, by limited, I mean limited by today's standards. But yeah, like I said, once I'm able to cut down on that texture usage, I'm hopeful that it's just gonna get better. All right, so now let's try and maybe do with a different texture for this wall. Oops, that's a little big. There you go. That's somewhat better. And also one other thing that I was playing around with is placement of these decals that are kind of at the joining point between like a wall and a ceiling floor. And yeah, so and I think I've seen this somewhere else. I'm not sure why I didn't think of it earlier, but it's just placing this at a 45-degree angle. So yeah, pretty straightforward. But like I said, I was placing like two, one flat against the floor and one flat against the wall. And I'm like, this is not sustainable. I don't want to keep doing this. And yeah, so see, like right now it stutters quite a bit. And it was fine before starting the stream, but I'm not sure if that's um, kind of the streaming is also affecting it. Um, yeah, so the game is there is combat in the game, like shooting, rifle, pistol, bow. I mean, these are the main weapons. Again, with the enemy AI in place. But yeah, I mean, it does focus on exploration, but there is like uh, the enemy factor in the game, which is very present. So you will get into quite a bit of combat. Um, well, and for the game mechanics, yeah, it's pretty much uh, very basic looting. Like you would be able to pick up, search through like trash cans, to craft like lock picks and arrows. Kind of the things that would be needed in the game. And so right now, the craftable items would be things that would allow you to go through doors. Lock picks, and for your bow, things that you can craft for your bow. And yeah, I think I was showing that a couple of streams back. And so yeah, if you want to see that as well, I can show it to you. But I mean, when I speak about build projects, I warn about errors related to. Oh, I see. Yeah. And so I was looking into like the hard reference versus soft references, and that's definitely on my mind as far as trying to um, reduce the footprint, but I don't think I'm um, at that level of complexity where it seems to matter. But yeah, that's a great question. So as far as that goes, I mean, so far so good. I haven't had any troubles with that. It's mostly just from the um, like you see this here, the video memory part of things. Like the graphic performance is what kind of brings down the overall performance of the project. Everything else seems to be fine. Like looking at it in the profiler, I think is what it's called, like the GPU profiler. Yeah, the game thread is very quick. It's the video, I think it's called the video thread. That is, um, considering Lumen and like draw calls and all that, that um, that definitely has the bigger impact, at least in my case. So, yeah, so see, this is guys, this is what I was talking about um, with these decals, and just to apply them at an angle, and you just have to put down one of them. Yeah, so I'll place these in for now. I'll see about which one I want to use as far as uh, the, the material for it. For now, let me just do a quick painting on this. I believe it was the green channel that, let me see, which one was it? Oh yeah, my pleasure. Okay, come on. Which channel are you on? Oh, well, I mean, this is not going to work because this is just a simple cube. It's not one of those subdivided ones that I use. So let me try using that. So yeah, I use you know, to be able to paint this. Hey, Atlantica, welcome, welcome. Happy Saturday. So I um, these shaders are you know, so I can do like a vertex paint, but I need to find, so the green channel, sorry, let me see, which one was the channel that I had or was it the red? Yeah, so the red channel was the kind of the drips and the leakage. Then, you know, the green channel is the damage. So if I was to paint in, it'd be like kind of, this is a little bit too much, but um, and then I can't remember what was blue. I don't think I had anything on blue. Yeah, I don't have anything on blue. But yeah, Vertex Paint, you know, is really powerful. So we just placed one thing that kind of bugs me sometimes with the decals is that you know, you can't see the icon unless you place it somewhat like this. So yeah, let's also get it on this side, just in a similar fashion. There we go. Maybe this one should not have receiving decals. All right, there we go. So, you know, right off the bat, you know, having these decals in place, I think helps uh, immensely with the transition between the two surfaces. And even if it's not like a kind of a decrepit, you know, worn out type of environment, even just like a darker line or something, it could, I think it should help. So just like that, you know, I think just having those lines in there definitely helps with it. And yeah, decals are awesome. And of course, you know, maybe some stains or something on the ceiling just to break it up a little bit. Just like that. There we go. Yeah, so we're gonna need to paint this a little bit further down down this area. But I wanted to create that area that uh, you know, that I mentioned with some of the piping, right? That's going to be like kind of a little bit of a something that you cross over and you just see down in there. I think that could be a pretty cool detail. Yeah, so let me paint a little bit more of the green channel just to remove, oops, not the green, I forgot. It's the red, to remove the kind of the leaks and everything else. And we could potentially, you know, do a little bit on this wall. So let's see, I thought this one had the same. Oh yeah, I'm actually just removing it now. Yeah, okay, that should be all right. It might look better on this kind of cast in situ concrete area. Let's see, like it's got a little bit of a better contrast with the leakage. And this could be some interesting damage to just apply on the corners. Something like that. We'll see how the next piece of wall um, uh, looks once we extend that. But for now, I wanted to see how where I'd like to kind of place those drainage pipes, I think is what you could call them. So somewhere around here. Like I said, I wasn't not that I didn't like the having the slope in here, but it would cause more headache than it's worth, namely with like placing the decals and not so much I'm not worried about like the player would be able to navigate it easily, but it's more of the placement of everything else that's going to be probably painful. So for now, I'm just going to try and I'm just hoping that I didn't mess this area up too much, and luckily I did not. I was afraid that this section here where it joins with the ladder was going to have some trouble because I had that previously at an angle, but that seems to be fine. All right, so maybe down in here we could have some of those pipes coming across or going on the floor. And let me just grab these. No, that's not it. Where did I move that one? Or maybe I'm just going to use this one. Because one thing that I've wanted to try, and I've done quite a few tests, or not tests, but um, kind of playing around with, is in one of these openings, kind of like how this would be, to place a light and basically have the light shine through the grates. So let's see how horrible or how would that look? Let's move this wall over. Okay, that's good. I was just hoping that I'm still on the grid when moving this. Yeah, and see, this is the example of why I mentioned that I have that little point light that has a light function to um, to kind of give that effect of, the grill on this light, that's got kind of shadowing behind it. So yeah, what I was hoping for is that I can place this down here and have the, let's see if I'm just gonna also bring this piece of wall in. Like that. Maybe this could be lowered a little bit. Let's see, how do we want to place this? Would it be better on this end? That's kind of a neat effect. One thing that I've noticed with 5.5.4 is that if you remember, whenever you like you have an object that syncs into another one, the outline of it becomes like dotted. So I'm not sure, has anybody else noticed this issue with the latest version, or is it just me? Like when you overlap with it, like this outline here, this part, once it's overlapping with something else, it would turn like just a dotted line. And I found that extremely useful, but I'm not sure if it's something that is a thing anymore, or if they just uh, introduced a bug. All right, so let me see, why isn't this one? Yeah, so see, this is kind of like the effect I was hoping for. You know how the um, um, it how it was shining through, right? But let me try with a different grate. Oh, oh, yeah, Lanika, that's so have you noticed, I wasn't sure if you might have noticed something like that on your end. Okay, so I'll leave this for now until I find something that like a different type of grate. Oh, okay. I'm also kind of wondering if it's like if it's a setting or something. I don't know. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that'd be um I mean, it's not that I'm that I want it to happen to others, but I'm just wondering if it's just a me thing or if it's like a good old Unreal QA type of process. Okay. So let's see, maybe we can move this light a little bit further this way. And so what I wanted to do is in this little opening here to add some pipes and, you know, reuse. Just gonna grab some of these. Yeah, Yeah, actually that's a great point. I am wondering because the way this light is set up, it's got like a small point light for this light function. And the other one is um, a spotlight. So yeah, let me I'll try and go into it and see if that might be something that's causing this trouble. Hey Min, do you use plugin World BLD? I don't use it, but I'm kind of curious as to what that is and what's its purpose, right? All right, so of course there is, this one would not be anything right without having some kind of a water body or like a little bit of a flood in there. If I can find the right material for this water body, that'd be even better. All right, so let's try and get this one in here. Let me try and find where my the water material that I'm using is at. And one thing I forgot, if memory serves right, we did have some crashes last time. So I'm just gonna quickly save. Okay, there we go. That could be a pretty decent looking water. All right, so let's take a look at this one real quick. Just wanted to jump into this blueprint here and see if I can make any changes to that spotlight. Um, source radius. Yeah, these part I never really understood what they do. Like the source, so like in a spotlight, you know, what is the purpose of these? Like the soft source, the source length. I was never able to figure those out. Yeah, so overall, I think Let me see. So it might be somewhat related to the shadow bias, I think, in my case. Well, so if I figure out why that is, um, I'll share it with you guys, but yeah, I think that actually has kind of a cool effect there. Let's bring in also the ceiling. Let's make sure that I can do it at 10. Um, yeah, Atlantica, thank you so much. I really appreciate having you as well. So until the next one, yeah, get some rest, get some rest. I'll do another one tomorrow as well. So if you can join in, hopefully I'll see you there. But yeah, have a great rest of your Saturday as well. All right, so let's get the rest of this kind of ceiling put together in here. And the other thing that oh, awesome, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Appreciate that. So let me put my dummy here, just for scale comparison. All right, so that's pretty good. It's still a little high. Um, Max, I do work with Git, and actually, if anybody's interested, um, so yeah, this is I was kind of thinking you might have noticed this icon here. So this is the GitHub desktop, but what I use is the solution from Microsoft, which is knock on wood, nobody from Microsoft is watching this stream and saying, whoa, we should check on how much space these guys are using for their games. But my project, with everything included, not what's going to be in the build version, is over 100 gigs, like 120, I think, at the moment. Um, so that repository is big. And when I used to have it on GitHub, they would limit you to 100 gigabytes for a repository. I'm not sure if that's like on the books type of size or if it's just nobody notices. But it seems like with Microsoft and their I think it's through Azure, Azure, um, that you do have quite a lot of space, and that is awesome. I am really happy about that. But yeah, that's what I use for source control is the solution for Microsoft. And like I said, thankfully it is free for now. Hopefully it's gonna continue to be free going forward. And after this video as well. um, oh yeah, there we go. This is what I was looking for. Like I think the radius was not big enough, maybe, for this light to get the things showing. That's a little too much. So I think this is going to be fine like this. Okay, so we've made these spaces a little bit tighter. It's kind of what I was looking for. Yeah, Max, definitely you're welcome. And if interested, if you ping me on Discord, I think it should be in the description of the video, I'm hoping. Or if you're already on Discord, I can send you to where that is. It's kind of it's through their Visual Studio projects type of thing. Um, so yeah. Oh yeah, but I do I'm very uh, religious, I would say, how or if you can say that about the source control. Like it saved me in so many instances. I couldn't tell you how many times um, having source control, saved my project. All right, so let's add a couple of some of these vents on some of these spaces that are kind of just blank, like there. And yeah, one thing that I'll do is I'll kind of chop this mesh up to get um, the fan out and actually make it so that it spins. I'm not entirely sure if I don't think the player is going to be able to clear that with their head. So let me just push this back a little bit. All right, so that's there. And we'll try and cover that space over there in the ceiling with some pipes. If anybody looks up there, I'll have some of these pipes showing through, covering this up. Let's see, I'm gonna try and get this one because it has like a little bit of a thing to it. Like that. And there we go. All right, so that's good. And then we gotta do something with this part, with this thing here. And this opens up. We'll just have to make this a little bit tighter, like this. There we go. I'm gonna try and find also something else for the ceiling, especially for some of these sections where there's more like concrete surfaces. Um, over here, yeah, we do have some of these walls that are like it kind of continues this plaster type of surface, and the same thing on this side. But for this section, it's more of a kind of just concrete theme, if we can call it that. But and actually think we could lift this up a little bit more, just like that. Okay. And I think I might use the same thing over here with the pipes, to kind of help with that transition, maybe if you can call it that. But yeah, there we go. I think that could work. Sometimes it's I do try to work off of references as often as I can, but sometimes it's kind of like um, um, I wanna try and make something slightly original, or at least as original as I can. So, and let me also turn this sideways like this, just to add a little bit of a variety in how these lights are placed. There we go. I mean, it's starting to look more like a hallway kind of thing. Let's make sure, safety first, second, third, maybe, I don't know. Just add some railings to this. There we go. That's better. And I'm kind of wondering if, uh, not that I'm stuck on this, but I wanted to try a different kind of position for the light here. Hmm. I mean, I think it's got a pretty interesting effect in either place, but I'm probably just gonna keep it right here, like right under so it's got these kind of shining on the ceiling. Now the thing is, I was one thing that I'm trying to figure out is the volumetrics, and right now my uh, Sky Dome blueprint, when it's on a daytime setting, it does not have it has a pretty low volumetric fog setup. During the night, it would be a little bit too much. But and I mean these ones already have kind of a high volumetric scattering. And let me see if I can apply that to my blueprint. Yeah, so it's got an interesting effect when there's like volumetrics, but unfortunately, I um, I don't want this to be the same outside. So I've been looking into like the local volumetric fog, but I'm not sure what that is tied to be honest. I think it's tied um, to the overall volumetrics, like the overall volumetric fog that you have already added. So yeah, I think I might just have to stick with this for now, um, and see if I can figure out a way to add the volumetrics to these. But okay, let's move some of these decals around. I mean, this one we can place them somewhere out here just for scale reference. And so yeah, it doesn't seem. Let's jump into game mode real quick and see how it looks from um, the first person view. I just take a little bit for this to jump into game mode. There it is. All right, so oh yeah, and the other thing, let me actually turn on the desktop audio. Um, so you will probably hear. I think you should be able to hear it. Um, there's like the exterior sounds still coming in. So I've already implemented a little blueprint that when you enter a interior space for the exterior sounds to dissipate and then the interior sounds to start kicking in. But yeah, so I'll be addressing that. So let's see. All right, so flashlight works. Not that you need it, but okay. So it's not a very claustrophobic space, like very tight, but it's still, not I was mentioning like the concert hall. Yeah, so see like right now this is like kind of I don't know why this is such that was like a big drop there, but in performance. Um, so yeah, I think overall scale wise is quite all right. There's going to be some enemies patrolling around here, so I'm going to be putting down some items that you can hide behind and um, maybe distract them in a way. So like the main one would be, you should be able to hide down here and kind of but yeah, along the corridor, yeah, so see this number is really annoying me. Like um it jumps from like 1,000 to 3,000, so it's um that and then now it's like 600. So that's why I want to bring down that stat as low as I can possibly bring it. And so hopefully by tomorrow from 9 it's going to be down to 8, and then by next week even lower. We'll see how far I can take it. All right, let's like I said, let's get back into getting some of those decals on there and see how those are going to turn out. Just wanted to select this decal here and bring it up a little bit so I can see it. There we go. I'm not sure why I see like there's like some freezes and it kind of seems they coincide when with this video memory is like shooting up. Um, so let's try and place this one over here. Yeah, so you can see like just applying these decals and they don't have to be uh, like even just this, like a kind of a dirt type of thing in the corners. I think I actually like that as well. So, just applying slightly thing there. It provides that s- nice transition between the two surfaces. Yeah, it might make it a little bit difficult to select it, but yeah, so see, this is what I was talking about. You see how the this is like kind of just dotted this the gizmo arrows. It used to be the same with the mesh itself. So like for example, this section here, since it overlaps with the wall, it would be um, it would have been dotted. Yeah, so there we go. So the corridor is coming together, I think. All right, let's move a couple of more of these. Just like that. And that there. Yeah, so see how much I think this adds quite a lot. Let's add a couple of decals like on the ground. And yeah, that's another reason that I didn't want to go um with the sloped surfaces. It would have made like placing these decals just too much of a pain. There we go. That's starting to look like a hallway, uh, industrial area kind of kind of a space. And what's a ceiling without having some pipes going across it? There we go. Now let's see, where do I want these pipes to connect into? Maybe they go this way. Oh yeah, that could be something. If they were to go down this way, right? That could work. There we go. Let's just move these over a little bit. And we'll try and make them join. Hopefully, because they're one is on one side, one is on the other side. Seems like we're still on the grid, so that should help. Come on. Okay, there we go. And then this little guy. Let's see if we can get this one. Yeah, also the other thing that I didn't think about is this is also like that count is also due to lumen. Um, that also has a pretty big effect on this. So something to keep in mind. All right, let's see if we might need to bring it out a little bit more. There we go. So it makes it around that corner. Let's use a few more of these. like metal hangers. And these ones are really, really tight over here. I meant this little thin one. There we go. It's better. Okay, so that looks good. Let me see if I might just move this over on this wall. There we go. Oh, thank you, Bob. Yeah, it is one of those areas um, that you'll need to investigate. And of course, there's going to be quite a number of enemies around here. But yeah, it would be like I was showing you this would be one of the entrances to the dam, and then the other one would be over here, right? So this would also be like kind of like a maintenance hatch type of type of an entrance. So it's kind of the player would choose which one to take. The other one would be like less enemies, but it'd be like more of a hike. We got to go up that hill and access it through there. This one would be a little bit um, closer, but you have to deal with all the enemies. So yeah, that would be the difference. All right. Um, so guys, yeah, before um, oh, Tariq, hey, welcome. The map looks good. What is the purpose of the game? Is there a story? Yeah, so the story is that at the start of the game, let me just quickly save. And I was I was kind of getting ready to end as well. But thank you so much for asking, so I can kind of give you a little bit of a synopsis, right? Or like kind of how the game starts. So you travel to this area via a plane, which yeah, it's kind of very used method of entering a game. And you come into this area, into this little Cessna airplane, to investigate the disappearance of a couple of your friends. So let me see where the plane is. Yeah, so basically, and hopefully you can see like this little screen on the side. So you fly into this area, and at one point you're being fired upon from this chemical factory. This is kind of I would say like where the bad guys are at, their main location. And the plane starts crashing, and so it's going to fly along this line and along this line, there's going to be like three points where you'll be able to jump out of the plane, just to save yourself. So you choose a jump spot and you jump, you fall down, and depending on where you pick your jump spot, the game is going to start a little bit different. So the few missions at the beginning of the game are going to be different, and then eventually they're going to join into the same thread, into the same line. And um, so uh, what that's going to do is going to put you, and sorry that I'm not sure why it's running so slowly right now. It's again, I think probably due to how this video memory has been exhausted. So it's going to take you to this town where kind of the bad guys have separated everybody that lives here into four zones. So this town is kind of split into, you can see like there's um, uh, the fence separating the zones, and you'll be able to gain access to these zones and interact with the NPCs that are there to get more details on where your friends might be. And you're gonna complete missions for these guys, and as you complete the missions, you get more details. Like for example, one of them is going to be to try and triangulate their position. So there's like a number of antennas in the world. Like for example, one of them is here, the other one is over here, and the third one is going to be, I think I placed it um, somewhere here. I think I might have put it in, but it might be hidden. So you'd be able to, climb these towers, place a device that would help with, triangulate the location of one of your friends. But, uh, to get to that, there'll be like, other parts of the story to complete. And, of course, there's the enemies. And the enemies are not gonna like inside of these zones in town. These are like safe zones, so there's no enemies in here. These are just used for you to like interact with the NPCs and kind of get different missions. But then in order to get out of these zones, you'd be able to kind of just travel via these kind of zip lines. Think of just like Ninja Warrior or some of those programs where you just like hang on the zip line and go across. So you'd be able to go back and forth between these zones, either by using the zip line or by using, if I can find it, just by using like a sewer system. So um, through the sewer system, you'd also be able to travel between the zones. And outside of the zones, um, you're fair game. So the enemies are going to be able to, they're going to engage you, and you'll have your weapons to engage them. Um, and this dam is one of the areas where a number of the missions are going to happen, and this is what I'm currently working on. But yeah, so that's kind of like a high overview of the game and the story. Um, yeah, hopefully that sounds interesting. But yeah, so earlier what I was saying is to gain access to the interior of this dam, this is one of the access points, which it's going to be patrolled. There's going to be some enemies going around here, and the other one is through here, which is a little bit, I would say a little bit more to trek, just to walk around. There's less enemies, but again, there's like more of time they need to spend to get through this area, right? And then you'll be able to kind of come down and through here access the rest of the dam. So yeah, that is a really shortened version of of what the game is about. Hopefully I didn't lose you, but and if you like it, yeah, thank you for stopping by and asking the question. All right, so guys, before I end the stream, I just wanted to add a couple of things, especially where these pipes kind of go into the walls, like just some patches or and let me check out and see what I have for that. I believe I do have a couple of them, like kind of concrete patches is what I meant. Let's see. This is the point where a lot of these are gonna get uh, trimmed because of me going through it and removing some of the ones that, I don't really use or I don't plan to. All right, so I think let's see how this one would look. I mean, at least it's in place, so yeah, scaling these is kind of a pain sometimes. Let me see if I need to select one of those for this particular purpose, like one of those patches that I have. Maybe it could be something like a damage. Oh, actually, I think a pothole might be even better. So there we go. That might it has a little bit of a better texture that it's kind of just the edges around have kind of crumbled, around the opening. So I think this could work. Oh, whoops. That was a weird kind of scaling. There we go. That's better. I mean, I know this area is not going to be, um, nobody's going to be able to see what's going on there, but all right, there we go. And we can use this one over here as well. And if anybody looks, there we go. All right, that's good. And one last thing. I just wanted to put something because this is like this corner here was really like, oh man, look at that edge is just so perfect. So let's try and yeah, so it's not like completely destroyed, but this way has a little bit of an edge to it there. Okay, well, let's do one last kind of jump into game mode and take a look at what we've got from the player's point of view. Hey, thank you so much, Tariq. Thank you so much for the kind words. Really appreciate that. Um, yeah, it is. Let me turn down the volume of the birds chirping inside. Uh, yeah, it is. It is a work of love, if you can call it that. I've been working on it for a good number of years now. So it's, you know, all the pieces are starting to come together. I've just like been putting, uh, you know, them uh, kind of building out these individual areas one by one. So yeah, now that it's like getting, I'm, getting, I'm closing in on, having a demo. Um, I'm really excited about it myself. So yeah, stay tuned. More to come. So hopefully, with these with these streams, I'm just trying to, you know, have continuous updates and keep people interested. So hopefully that, people are still interested. But yeah, um, okay. Well, so I think this was some really good progress, guys. Um, and I think these cracks look pretty good on those corners. The pipes look all right. Maybe I could clean them up a little bit. We'll see. I might just do something with the ceiling because it's and make it more like in this area. I think this patch here looks like it's brand new almost. Yeah. Have you considered making the game open source and um, so I was thinking about that. Not so much as a um, open source type of thing, but like kind of working with a team because like right now it's literally that's the name of the game on your own. So I'm like working on it by myself. But I'm kind of selfish in a way that I like to do everything because I think that's what kept me motivated, just doing everything, like working on the story, if I get bored with like some level design, I work on some visual scripting, blueprints and the like. Um, so yeah, I hopefully if this materializes into something, like, pay the bills type of thing, I do have a couple of projects in mind that could work as if you're familiar with that challenge that Epic had, where they had a bunch of people building out a world. Um, Similar to that, I have an idea for a game that could benefit from that, but that'd be something for the future. Yeah, thank you so much for asking. All right, well, guys, I think that's going to be it for me for today. Um, I will be back tomorrow, same time. I'll post it on Discord slash Twitter slash Blue Sky, and I hope to see some of you there as well. I think Atlantica already signed up, so but hopefully others would join. Tariq, Bob, everybody else, thank you so much for stopping by, and yeah, I'll hopefully see you tomorrow. All right. Well, if not, guys, have a great rest of your weekend and great week. And if I don't see you tomorrow, hopefully next week. Hopefully the other streams to come. All right. Take care, everybody.